Well, anytime I hear that, I laugh. Did he really fed me or I fed him? Because the impact I have made in that church will speak for life. He used to call me his pharmacist. So a man that is petty, a man that is vindictive, a man that does not forgive, a man that can keep malice for days, for months. For me, the message I have is for everybody. And with this message and accepting this message, I tell you there will be reform, transformation globally.
First of all, I want to say a shout out to my friend Kel, who actually made this interview possible. Kel, thank you so much for making it happen. So I watched this interview, my guest, and he revealed some things that could shake your mind. And we're here to share this great expose that will help you make decisive decisions towards your religious and your spiritual life and who to follow and how to follow it. And I hope you're going to enjoy this interview. Thank you so much for tuning in. Please hit the subscribe button and the notification bell. Leave your comments on the comment section. Void of your sentiment, void of emotion, just drop whatever you think and I will see you on the comment section. Welcome, sir.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
All right, today we have an ex-pastor and a firm believer in humanity and somebody who would like people to be treated in an egalitarian way, like do unto others the way you would love them do unto you. Mr. Abraham is on set today. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you so much.
On a very short notice.
Yeah, no
we
problem.
really do appreciate it.
I'm happy to be here.
Thank you.
Excited.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, sir. First of all, how would you best describe yourself?
Okay, yeah, my name is Abraham Daniel. I'm from Benue State, and I was born into a religious family. And I started my religious journey very early from my cradle. I think at the age of 9, I started preaching in Assemblies of God because they used to have what they call children church, and they pick best children to represent them on Children's Day. So I started, so I was a religious person, very, very religious. And either ways, when you are in terms of Christianity, encountering Jesus, I think I encountered Jesus in that terms.
In the Christian term of encountering Jesus?
Absolutely.
All right. Okay, so why do you think that people should listen to you?
Yes, because the message I have now is for humanity. I'm a humanist. And I discovered humanity is one, either in Nigeria, in Africa, in Europe, in Asia, humanity is one. If you look at our kidney, our lungs, both the internal organ and the external organ, we are all one. So for me, the message I have is for everybody. And with this message and accepting this message, I tell you there will be reform, transformation globally. So for me, it's a message for humanity and the globe at large.
All right, I see a lot of comments online and I would like to draw a question from there.
Okay.
Why are you tarnishing the image of the man that fed you?
Well, anytime I hear that, I laugh. Either ways, when did he really fed me or I fed him? Because the impact I have made in that church will speak for life. They can't recover. Because some of the template I have set, like in production, and the marketing, I set the template. When I came there, they had no archives. I built the production. Had to, the archives, the software, the soft archives, because before then they had no archives, soft copies. I had to, like, you can Google any topic and it will just pop up. And you can go to a particular shelf to pull it out. So for me, in a sane society, I should be given some royalty. So it's either way. When you are good at your work, people will celebrate you. So for me, I think I'm not really pulling down anybody. I'm not.
Okay, in case you don't know, he was an ex-pastor under Dr. Paul Eneche.
Yes.
Dr. Paul Eneche is the general overseer of Dunamis Church of God. And Dunamis Church of God happens to be the biggest church in the world when it comes to auditorium. They have the biggest church in the world with 100,000 capacity. So he served under him and very closely with the man of God. Having such an intimacy with this man, would you say that he actually fathered you, like daddied you, like babied you?
Well, when it comes to taking care of your tool, because if you have a car, you have to take care of your car. If you have a bike, you have to take care of your bike. So when it comes to taking care of your tool for maximum productivity, yes, he was taking care of me because I was doing him well. I was taking care of his empire, his ministry, his church, in terms of the spare, my location where I have assignment. I was doing it well. So, of course, he has to take care of me so that I can perform well. So for me, that is just a mutual thing. It's transactional.
It's transactional.
Very, very
You take care of me, I take care of you.
Yes.
So suffice to say, you're also taking care of him.
Absolutely. Because most of the things I have done for him, I remember one time we met, he said, since I left, nobody could handle it. Because there's what I call concussion. Concussion, anytime he's preaching, I take my time to cut points, like miracle. Highlights. Thank you so much. A media person. Highlights, what we call miracle. When he's praying and he's shouting, when he's screaming. So I cut this highlight for him, and later he will take his time to watch them, to spur him for the next service. So like sometimes, maybe before he goes into service, like in the next 30 minutes, he watch them to just motivate him for the next service. So he used to call me his pharmacist. It got to that level. So for me, I think, like I said, in a sense, society.
So you cannot give him the right drugs before he goes on stage?
Absolutely, the right drugs. He hardly was doing without me. He can call me any time of the night, anytime. Because if you need any content, I put that in his phone, his iPod, iPad, laptop, for him, his wife, and his children. So just imagine that. So I had his password, both his email, Gmail, all.
And for one day, you never took advantage of that?
Never. And that's one thing, when I see people criticize me, I laugh. Because you don't know. You are not close to him. You don't know him. I knew him. I never one day, I had his email, his iCloud password, the wife password. I used to change based on their recommendation, changing of password and all of that. So never. And I dare them to challenge me. Whether since when I was working with them, managing their apps, anything happened. I dare them to do that.
So do you think that, because, Pastor Paul Eneche is somebody who comes off in the minds of people as a very close to a perfect human being. That is the kind of character he wears, right? This character of modesty, decency, clothed in glory, and all that stuff. So, behind closed doors, behind the altar, what kind of a person is he?
Yes. Okay. I got to be honest. And for me, I have nothing to lose. I have nothing to gain. It's just due respect for him and subjectivity. For me, what people call modesty and impeccable kind of person, for me, it doesn't hold water. Closely, I saw a man that is petty. I saw a man that is petty, a man that is vindictive, a man that does not forgive, a man that can keep malice for days, for months. I remember one time I was in his office, and his office chair is very high. So as soon as I entered, "Oh, Daddy, good morning," and he noticed the shoe I wore. And he was like, "Abraham, that shoe is my kind of shoe." I'm like, "Oh, this shoe I got from the roadside." I stopped wearing that shoe because I knew the aftermath. Like, oh, so this guy is having plenty money now to buy my kind of shoe. So I noticed that. So, and behind the scene, if he gets angry, you don't like him. You don't like him. I remember one time we had pastors meeting, and a pastor came late. The pastor was very tall. So if he bent down, his bending down was like my height. And when the pastor came late, he was sneaking in, and Dr. Paul noticed him. If you see the way he spoke to that man, "Are you crazy? Is something wrong with you?" As if he was rapping. And the guy, as if ground should open for him to enter. This is a family man. A family man. After that insult, you know, he has to cool down. He's like some shrine. You have to walk. Sorry, daddy. Sorry, daddy. We are very sorry, daddy. We are very sorry, daddy. And after that insult, the young man had to buy anointing oil to go and meet him to undo that cause he cursed him.
Whoa.
I'm not joking. I can call
He
his name.
literally cursed him.
Oh, come on, bro. You think I am lying? I can call his name. His first name is Joseph, the pastor. He had to buy anointing oil. Say, daddy, what you told me there that I came late, can you undo it?
Whoa.
I'm not joking. So it's to that level. And he can, if you want, he hardly forgive.
Do you think that the person of Christ resides in him?
Oh, that's a tough one, because when you begin to compare him and Christ, the gap is very wide. There's no meeting point. I can tell you that because I am not, like you said, we are using parameters.
Yes.
We are using parameters. So with due respect to him, we are. People used to say we are human, but I don't subscribe to such words like you are human. No, there's nothing. If he's as a human being, when you are looking at the character of Christ that symbolizes love, respect, peace, kindness, meekness, no, he doesn't have it. He doesn't have it. I have seen, like I told the story in one of the interviews, I've seen where during my off time, my free period, I was free and I had the time to use my time for anything. I went to see his ex-pastor, Pastor Ayo in Lokoja, and I greeted I branched Dunamis church to greet the resident pastor and my colleague then, the assistant pastor, and I was asking for the address of Ayo. Before I could finish with Ayo, they had called him. And he has called the admin, Ochoga there, and Ochoga had to call me immediately, where are you? Now, I didn't violate any law, nothing. It was my free period during December, off, take a break. So now, and if you hear, for more than 3 months, he was keeping malice with me.
Literal malice?
Literal malice, that he jobs that he would give to me because he needed me. He was somebody that for him to preach, I had to be there to help him.
Yeah.
So I was always the guy behind the scene. So he would have to use his PA
to come to you.
to come to me.
Because he doesn't want to interface with you.
No, because the anger was there, like a venom. So it was after a while he called me and said, you know why I'm not happy with you? I said, I'm sorry, sir. He said, why will you go see that man? That the enemy of your father is your enemy. So
how did the man become his enemy?
That is where the problem lies, because Ayo was he converted Ayo. He got Ayo born again.
Oh, Ayo used to be his own son.
Yes, he converted Ayo. Ayo was, in terms of the Christian definition, Ayo was an unbeliever. He converted Ayo, got Ayo born again. Ayo went through the rigorous teaching of his, and he ordained Ayo as a pastor. So Ayo at one point resigned.
Okay.
And left him. So leaving Dr. Paul
means you're enemy with him.
Yeah, absolutely.
So as it is right now, you are an arch enemy of Dr. Paul Eneche.
No pastor of Dunamis church can relate with me. I remember when one of our senior pastor, Philip Abba, he's late now. Ayo too is late. Yeah.
What killed Ayo?
He had an accident.
And died off.
And died. And Philip Abba too died. Now Philip Abba was, the first pastor I met was Philip Abba. But when Philip Abba left, it would be very impossible for people to see me with Philip Abba. I had to sneak if I want to see him or if I want to help him, because at one point things were really tough for him. And one thing Dr. Paul does is that when a pastor leaves and things are rough with that pastor, he uses you to preach. For instance, yes, he uses you to preach. Talk to us as pastors. He will come to, like during pastors' meeting, you said, you see, that man left, you see his condition. The other day, the wife came to beg for house rent. They don't even have food to eat. So you that you are within,
that's a way to manipulate you to stay.
You better sit up. So if you are thinking of jumping out, so you know that there's wahala outside. So you that you are inside must be careful now, because outside is war.
Okay, now you made a striking point. You said those that left, 2 are dead right now.
No, they are more than that. A fellow pastor, there was a time, I think like 2 years ago, All the pastors that left, because of their condition and the way things were happening to them, they gathered all of them. All of them came together to go and meet him for prayer. Because things were literally not working for them. So I am not alleging that he is the cause.
But is there a possibility? Do you think he has such ability to orchestrate a thing like that?
First, I don't believe in stuff like that. But this is what happens. When you work with him, you have spent maybe the most part of your life with him, with the church. Like as a pastor, it's very difficult for you to belong to a family meeting. It's very difficult for you to belong to a societal meeting. The people you know are the church people. For instance, if you are sending your family to your son to school, maybe the church member will say, "Pastor, why not bring your child here?" So, or maybe if church members know that your daughter is schooling somewhere, they can help you subscribe or maybe make the school fees easier for you. Now, when you resign, you automatically made or
You're
seen
cut off.
You are cut off. So someone that used to pick your call before will not pick your call. And maybe your child is going to that school, the person will begin to give you attitude. And the next thing you have to withdraw your child. Now, when you see such relationships that were built on that premise, they begin to cut you off.
So, and for many years, you've built your network around the church.
Around the church.
So once you leave, you're disconnected.
You are disconnected. So
things that used to work before, you will stop working.
Stop working.
So it's nothing spiritual.
Nothing spiritual. For me, nothing spiritual, because I don't believe in spirituality, because nothing is spiritual there. Maybe you used to buy something from a particular supermarket that maybe they'll give you, and later you pay, and now you approach them, everybody change attitude. You are no more with Daddy, you are no more with Dunamis. So they don't relate with you that way. So for me, that alone, if you are not careful, if you don't have the mental stability to handle such, it can lead to depression, it can lead to a whole lot. And the pastors, all of them had to go meet him, "Please pray for us. We don't know why things are not working for us."
Did he pray for them?
I don't know, because they told me and I was laughing at them. I was laughing at them because these things are laughable. And of course, if you are to pen down pastors that have left and have died, they are close to 7 or 8 that I know. That is within a short period.
That's remarkable.
That's
something to look up to.
Yes.
Like look into. Sorry.
It's worrisome.
It's worrisome.
I am not saying he is the one, but if someone works with you, this is what happened.
If somebody works with you and lives and dies, another works with you, lives and dies, you begin to ask
either lives and
questions.
is very frustrated. There are pastors that have worked with him. There's one Adole, I don't want to mention his surname. If you see him, you will cry. There are people that have encountered him and left. If you see them, you won't believe that they once associated with him.
And once you leave the church, you are his arch enemy.
You are the enemy. The slogan is the enemy of your father. It's your enemy. It's your enemy.
So every other person is going to also disassociate with you.
I'm not joking. And what I'm saying is for them to come and debunk it if they have the balls. But it is true, because I have seen every other person is your enemy.
All right. So do you think that this Big Daddy GOs, do you think is a cartel?
Oh, a big cartel. A big cartel. And that's why, if you look at many people that played role in his life, Dr. Paul Eneche did not just arrive where he is by himself. Mm-hmm. Somebody like Abel Damina played major role. Somebody like there's another bishop, Bishop Asare, Wale Oke. This man played major role
in his life.
Major, when I mean major role, major. When there was no picture of whatever, they were there. But at one point, he had to begin to redefine himself, to join a bigger league, so-called. Now, for me, because I don't really have any regard for most of this league, but he had to join such league to belong to that cartel. And if you watch, that is what is happening. You have to belong to that cartel.
So there is a church cartel. There is a religious Christian cartel.
A major Christian cartel. Major. When I mean major, you dare not. What we say, some of us that are talking, we know we are confronting them. We know. It's a major.
Do you fear for your life?
How do I fear? I don't fear. I know it's risky. Like living for this interview, my wife was scared. I know it's risky. Yesterday I was doing a live on my Facebook. People were advising me, be careful, I know. But the truth is that if we keep quiet, impunity will continue. We need a sane society. The society is hijacked by charlatans and bigots that are destroying humanity, and it is time for us to speak.
You know, when on the comment section, you know, you see people saying it's because he has cursed you and you're now broke. That's why you're saying. Do you think that any of this hold water?
No water. Let me tell you. At least you're looking at me now. Do I look like someone that curse?
No.
I love my life the way I am. I have 4 cardinal drivers, like things that drives me. My greatest asset is human being. Humanity is my greatest asset, not money. Just the way people value properties, I value human being. And I used to tell people that I have no right to criticize anything I have no superior argument for. So if I said this thing is bad, what I'm replacing it with is better. And what governs me is my conscience. And my process must be consistent with my destination. So if I said it is humanity, anything I'm doing is towards humanity. So for me, all this material acquisition do not move me. I am comfortable, even though if I have opportunity, I would have a better comfort, but I am contented with this phase. I'm okay.
I'm waiting for the next phase of unveil.
Beautiful, waiting for the next phase. So nobody curse anybody.
Okay, so in this journey, you were close to him. You worked close to him for like how many years?
10 years.
So is a full decade is enough to see transformation. At what point would you say that he got corrupted?
There was no time, there was no corruption, if I could use that word, because it's just what I saw from outside was different from what I encountered. Because I saw the slogan was that talking about the restoration of human destiny and dignity. So, and I from my little beginning, I love humanity. So when I saw restoration of human destiny and dignity, it was similar with my cause. So I felt, okay, we can align. But when I came, human being weren't really valued. So for me, when I stepped in, I was already struggling to step out. But I was already deep inside. So to go was difficult.
It was difficult
because I had a family. And my ex-wife, I'm divorced now, my ex-wife was deep down. You know, women are very emotional. Was deep down in it. So every day I struggled to pull out. There's this threat.
We were still going deeper and deeper.
I had to go deeper because, let me give you a scenario. There was a day we had workers meeting, and he was talking about church growth in terms of attendance, and we had everybody seated, and he gave room for people to contribute. And while he was running off, he said, any contribution, this woman stood up and said, sir, most times when you give time, for instance, you have first service, second service, third service, fourth service, and all that. When you give time, please, could you keep to your time? And for instance, if you said, I'll be running off in the next 5 minutes, please, can your 5 minutes be 5 minutes? Before that woman will drop a statement, he shut her down. And if you see are you okay? Is it because I gave you opportunity to talk that you are talking? What do you think? I said, if you are not...
He literally belittled her.
Oh my gosh. See, a safe ground should open for you to enter. I doubt if that woman recovered till now. Because some of these things, especially when you hold somebody in high esteem and he's talking to you like that, you never deserve it. If not, because it's church and it's open for all. It's Church of Jesus.
But he was the one that called for the feedback.
The feedback he wants is gossip, not really feedback. Dr. Paul Eneche doesn't want feedback. All he wants is gossip. He doesn't keep people that correct him around him. He only keeps people that sing his praise. Oh, Daddy, you are doing well. For instance, after a service, say, how do you see it, guys? Because after each service, we pastors that sit on the altar goes with him. So when we are behind the scene, how do you see the service? All of us will say, powerful, powerful, the power of God move. You can't say it's not power. Oh, who born you? So he surrounds himself with people that do not advise him otherwise. You have to just keep celebrating.
So since you were seeing all those things going wrong, yes, and you were very close to him, close to like his bedroom cabinet,
yes,
and he would kind of listen to you because you bring value to the table.
Yes.
Did you try to, as polite as possible, try to communicate with him about the way things were going and some of the things that you think he would have done better?
You see, the problem with Doctor is that he's not correctable.
Is it corrigible?
You can't correct him. Incorrectable. He's almighty. The only thing you can do for him is to praise him. He places himself in the place of God. I'm not joking like if there is God. I don't believe there is God, but that is how he places himself. So whenever I'm talking to him, I don't talk from advisory point of view. I just commend him, because you can't win him. So, for instance, I remember one time I wanted to get him an iPod, and for me, I bargained the iPod. It was about 55,000, and I bargained because I know him, and I went to tell him. I said, "Daddy, the iPod we have to change for you because he misplaced his iPod. Is 55,000." He said, "Are you sure?" I felt disappointed.
Because you stuck out, you put out your neck to bargain that stuff.
My neck. He said, "Are you sure?" I felt so. Dad, will I eat your money? Is it from the 55,000 now that I'll eat your money? So, but I didn't say that to him in my mind. So, such person, let me say something. Allegedly now, because this one is not my experience. His personal accountant. One time, because anytime they give offering, and this is laughable though, his personal accountant, allegedly, his personal accountant normally go to remit his money, because in the offering, if they put daddy, he separate the daddy offering to him. And this man took the money to him. He told me, the personal accountant told me, I know his name, if you will be bold enough to, but allegedly, so that, because it's not my personal experience. So when he went to his office to remit the money, he put hand in his suit and gave him all the money. I say, well, doctor look at me and say, well, not that I don't believe you, but can I search your pocket? I am not joking. He told me. You know, like somebody told, can I search? I trust you, but can I search you? So when you have,
I trust you, but can I search you? There is no trust.
You cannot. I am not saying this for sympathy. I'm just being honest, to subject things that happen and we just celebrate.
So during that process, what was it like for you psychologically?
Psychologically, it was war, because you can't have the mind of your own. I know I shared this in one of the podcasts, but I remember my major problem was when I tried to have the mind of my own. I noticed that everybody have to be zombie. And in our pastor's WhatsApp, then election between ex-President Goodluck Jonathan and ex-President Buhari was coming, and analyzing the scenarios. I don't do politics. I don't believe in politics even till today. But when I analyze the scenario, as a logical person, you analyze things. You know that Goodluck cannot win, because based on this, then insecurity was there, Boko Haram and all of that. So I analyze in our WhatsApp.
The Northerners wanted him out by all means.
Out by all means.
And they have the greater number. Great.
Thank you. So, and Goodluck Jonathan was going around churches. Instead of him to push his campaign,
beyond the church.
The Al-Majiri school was good, but was not good enough to touch the elite, because the elite hold the water. So when I was analyzing it, I said it may not be possible for Goodluck Jonathan to win based on this analysis. That was in our WhatsApp group. But the pastors, they don't really have a say. So we are arguing it is Goodluck. I said it is not Goodluck. But when we were having our pastors meeting, and Dr. Paul was talking about having a blog where church information, miracles, and all that will be disseminated. He said, he mentioned Pastor Pennell, he mentioned his PA, and he said, Abraham, you'll be chief strategist. And all the pastors said, no, Abraham does not support what you are doing. Abraham does not even believe in what you are doing. Abraham believes in Buhari. Whoa. That was the first time I got the shock of my life.
Like adults cannot differentiate between analysis and belief.
They said Abraham support Buhari, that Abraham, because then they knew that I was very close to him. So they needed something that...
To tarnish your image.
To tarnish my image. And painfully, they printed everything. In colored, yes.
The conversations on social media.
On social media. So while I was trying to say, sir, no, I can explain, because then it was like he was shocked. Like, what? Because it was very close to us, Goodluck then. So he was shocked and he was looking at me. I was going to the wife to explain myself. I was going to him. I was just running up and down, and they brought out the whole thing. I was like, whoa.
Like you died.
I died. As if branch opened. As if just miss. So I said, sir, let me explain. He said, no way. That was when our problem started. He saw me like a threat. And just because I had a mind of my own. So
You had an opinion politically.
Yes. So
Which is not even religiously.
not religious related. When it comes to work and competence, I was perfect. But for you to have opinion of your own.
That is different from his.
If Dr. Paul wants white, you can't want black. Who born you must want the same color. You don't have the mind of your own, no opinion. Anything you want. It's a ministry, it's military. So if he said, go. If he said, come, the question is, how far do you want me to come? Or if he said, where are you? Where do you want me to be? It is all about obeying the last command. You don't have the mind of your own.
Damn. So talking about miracles, you talked about miracle being in the blog.
Where is water? Let me drink water. Because this one is another hot talk.
Okay.
Thank you.
The miracles that happen in the churches today, a lot of people have pointed out how these miracles come to be. A majority of them happens to be RNG. They are not real miracles.
Yeah, no.
Does Dr. Paul Eneche engage in arranged miracles?
Well, this is how I'm going to answer it. I have not, and I'm being honest, not even particularly to him, with great respect to him, I have not seen miracle there. I have not. Now, let me give you an instance. When I was pastoring a location, a lady had SS, and she, because of that, her bone, this bone here, was affecting her, so she was using a walking stick. When we hosted him, this lady, while prayers were going on, this lady came and ran out. Oh, SS turned to AS, and we all celebrated. Now, it was late.
Sorry, how did she determine that the AS are turned to AS immediately?
That is how it works. You know, the atmosphere is charged, and maybe to her, based on she couldn't do what she was doing before, so to her it has changed. So she ran out and say, hey, she was even walking with a stick. So we all took the stick up and everybody jubilating. Everybody everywhere went wild. Now the next Sunday I saw her with the same stick. Return back to status quo. But in the eyes of that camera,
the camera has sent it out already.
Now let me tell you, and I used to talk. What I'm saying is subjective. If miracle happen, we have hospital.
It should be verified.
We can take people there. We take him to the hospital. I remember late Dora, the great NAFDAC woman, with great Akunyele, yeah, with profound respect to her. I remember when she was sick, I was a pastor Dr. Paul called to give her ministry materials. He prayed for her. I was there. I was there when she came. So if miracle happened, she's late today. So these are practical with people with valid address. And presently, one of his pastors, I think the pioneer pastor of Dunamis Church Ibadan, the man is almost blind right now, almost blind. He can't see well, almost blind. I remember writing an open letter to Dr. Paul, appealing to him to send this young man abroad. Almost blind, he's there. So these are people with address. So if miracle happens...
Oh, you appealed for him to be sent abroad?
Yes.
Whilst Dr. Paul is busy healing other people from blindness.
From blindness, heal this man. Heal this man. It was because of that same blindness, he couldn't continue his service at his location. So they had to bring him to headquarters. So why not heal him?
And at least he's in headquarters.
In headquarters, seated under you almost every Sunday. So this, they go far. They go far. Heal him.
So the arrange miracle where they bring somebody to claim to be blind or to be lame, to be crippled or something, and they pray and the person starts walking instantly and no valid address and disappears. That's what people postulate when they're talking about fake and arranged miracles. Yeah. Did you see that happen within your course in church?
Okay, during my course in church, of course, when they talk about RNG, I may not see where people plan with anybody. No, I didn't see that.
You didn't see that?
I didn't see that. But I have seen how people came for miracle, but miracle never happened. Miracle never happened. And for you to know is when all the lights are down. Because after the whole back, you now people are going home, you now see people coming please, that walking stick I brought, please, can you help me with it?
That they've submitted already.
Yes.
As though that they are
There's a
healed
miracle,
already.
yeah,
And the
because-
camera had captured that they are healed.
Now, while I was speaking about this fake miracle, somebody called me and we spoke at length. He said they brought someone that had, I think, cancerous issue to that church, and from the car, the woman used
Crutches.
crutches. No, this stroller.
Okay, stroller.
Stroller to the service, and after they prayed for her, she ran. She stood up and she walked. And that when they returned her back to the hospital where they brought her from, she walked back to the hospital. But after some days, the sickness killed her. Can you see now? So no miracle really happened. But in the eyes of the camera,
It's happened.
it happened. And that is why we said the government should get to a point where some of these centers that proclaim miracles, they are misleading the public.
There should be an investigation.
Yes, because when you present something to the public that is not true, you are misleading the public.
Yes.
You can't be a judge in your own case. I've seen people come and say, no, you are lying. Miracle happened to me. Let them come out. We want to see before
And
after and thorough verification. Because if you are in such atmosphere, it is normal that emotions will be very high. Emotions will be very high. It's just like if we are
you can do things you
never
wouldn't do.
intend to do. It's just like we are in this place now. If they say there's a lion in this room now, me and you feel jump through this anything
And move.
and move. So when you are, or maybe Burna Boy or Davido, in the days of Michael Jackson, people were collapsing while he was singing. So these things happen, and most of these church members, sometimes they are even the cause of this. They give reason for these things because church members have placed pastors at a very high premise, so that they just want pastor to pray for them. Even what doesn't happen, they just claim it happened, so that pastor or that will come and touch them. So, and for instance, I have seen him after the whole thing. He has a team that bring him disinfective materials, hot water to clean his hand and all of that. So if miracle happen, and he's cleaning his hand because he does not want to contact any disease.
So the miracle could not protect him
So you
from being infected.
You cannot see the deal. So if miracle really happened, you shouldn't be scared of, before he touches anything, he has to really sanitize, especially during that that time when we were having Ebola kind of story.
Okay.
Ebola. So now of post-COVID-19, I don't even know the much more. So for me, miracles do not happen. And I am daring anybody, not just in Dunamis church, any church, let's see before. A thorough examination and independent examination during and after. We observe you for days because most of these things are just environmental influence. When people leave, you don't even know what happened. I've seen people shouting after the whole thing. People just go, the thing return, but nobody is tracing it. So people just do things for the camera, just for the camera.
Whoa. You mentioned your divorce.
Yes.
How did it happen?
Yeah, you know, like I told you, when I left that ministry, they never left me. He refused to leave me.
They came after you.
They in touch with my wife, and my ex-wife. She has a very she's this type of woman that want attention. You know, when you were a pastor, you had everything. That mommy.
All the attention.
Yes, all the attention. People come, help you wash things and all that. Now I have resigned. It is us now that will do things. So she noticed that, I don't want to return to that kind of life. So they were telling her, oh, you have left the cover. That's why things are not working for your husband. Your husband has left the cover. So she herself was putting me under pressure to return back, that I must return back, because they were in touch with her. Now, at one point, I became so angry. Now, can't you people leave me alone? Is it by force? I know they do again. They frustrated my network. My ex-wife was a thorn in my flesh. Until one time, I'm summarizing now, until one time I told her, because she insisted I should even return back, to the extent that, I said, you want me to come back? I went to see Dr. Paul. I want to come back. But after I said, no, anything that will happen, let it happen. I'm tired. I'm not myself anymore.
You're not fitted here.
I'm not fitted here. I struggle. And she had to go for divorce. And when divorce was happening, Dr. Paul used police to arrest me because that I was writing against him. Just like now, I have a police case I'm going to tomorrow on Monday, courtesy of Dr. Paul. Now, he said I am writing against him. Police now detained me. Now, they took me to, from there, they took me to remand at Suleja Correctional Service. While he put me in remand, he was giving my people money. He gave my ex-wife 200,000. When I came out, I confronted him. How do you lock a husband of somebody? And you are giving the wife money. For what?
Same you.
Same me. He locked me and he gave my ex-wife money. Like, why?
Wait. You were kept in prison?
Yes. Remind.
Yeah. But then when the case is being determined?
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And he was busy
taking care of my family. Okay, let me use that word. And when I came, I said, why will you do that for me? I'm not disabled. You lock me. If you want me to take care of my family, leave. And let me tell you, he's full
What was your offense?
Nothing. They said deformation. The same him call off the case. The same him. Why? This is not just applicable to me alone. Most of the pastors that left, what they do is they penetrate, crack into your family. They want to divide you. Because when you are divided, it affects focus. When your family you
is
are
together.
I can count 1, 2, 3 pastors I know that got divorced as soon as they left, because they need to crack your home so that they will spoil your shows for you so that they can use you to preach. He left, he's struggling. He left, and yesterday,
he's divorced.
When I started, talking much about the fake miracle they do there, yesterday was my first daughter's birthday. I saw him parading with my daughter on her birthday. And the ironical thing is that they were snapping with my daughter, sending the pictures to the social media. If you are a good father, if you know that you and the father we have issues, and you're a good father, you see his daughter, all you do is come. Have you called your father? Please go and meet your father. Because a good father, if you see any other child, you like to grow the child. Let me give you a very a good example. His daughter, his first daughter, Deborah, there was a time they were having issue between him, just like me and my daughter now. They were having issue. She was abroad. And they literally bundled her to Nigeria, allegedly now. But I spoke with her. In Nigeria here, she was kept in house arrest. She wasn't going anywhere. They seized her phone, all her gadgets. She confided in me because at that point she was broke. She said she needed to sell her camera so that she can buy 1 or 2 things. That the line she's even using to call me is only that the dad or mom do not even have this line. And I said, but your papa get money now. She said, I should forget about that. Now, when she told me that she wanted to sell her camera, I did not say no, nor yes, but I just guided, pretended as if I was to look for a buyer until the thing fizzled out. Because I believe that they had issues. They should be able to settle them.
Sort the issue.
Sort themselves out. But for him, my daughter went to him and he's using that to cast me. And it doesn't move me either because children will grow and know their parents. Right now, I know he has hypnotized my children. And it's okay. It's okay. And that is to advise parents to be careful where you send religious centers, you send your children to, because if you're not careful, your children will look at you and insult you because of what their pastors are teaching them. And that is what my first daughter is doing. I don't blame her. I blame the bad system, this Christian system that have hypnotized, and my ex-wife. My ex-wife came out from a dysfunctional home, which we don't decide the home we come from, but we decide what happened after.
After we come from it.
Because when I met her, she was thrown out of the house. She was thrown out of the house. She never knew her dad. My ex-wife never knew her dad. And she was thrown out of the house, never knew her dad. I encouraged her, I told her, I will marry you. You had a terrible past, but I will marry you. Her mother had 3 of them for 3 different men.
Whoa.
Yeah, but I told her I will marry you. I married her. I reconciled her with her mother. She used her mouth to say it. In her lineage, she was the first woman that married formally in her lineage. And she was the first woman I slept with. Throughout the 15 years of marriage, I never cheated one day. I never. So most times when you try to, and this is to encourage and advise people, when you want to marry, please check the family. Don't be in a hurry and be carried away by emotions. I've gotten my fair share. Should I shock you?
Please do.
My daughter, one of my daughter has a rape case, was raped under her. Yes, there's a rape case on in Apo High Court by a pastor, not Dunamis pastor, now by a pastor.
Another pastor.
Another pastor
raped your daughter.
Raped my daughter. His stepbrother to Reno or Mockery. Maybe that case is even another.
I heard that case.
Okay, it's my daughter.
That's your daughter.
That's my daughter.
The brother to Reno.
I'm telling you, the stepbrother to Reno.
They said allegedly that Reno now told the brother to deny everything.
Yes. I said, do you know my ex-wife hid it from me for more than a year? See, my brother, if you hear if you know what I've been through,
Whoa.
you would. If you see me standing and talking, it will shock you. My ex-wife hid it for more than a year. They were going to court. I didn't know. It was one day her friend. Now her and her friend had business. She now made her friend to sell her car. My ex-wife told her friend that she has contact with the secretary to the head of state. Mm-hmm. Now they have access for ecological fund here and there. So if they can use some money to pursue the contract, that don't worry, what is this her car? She will buy a better one. So this woman ignorantly or foolishly sold her car to fund that deal and gave her the money. Now when they gave the money now, hear the deal now, story. Now this same woman squatted her because my ex-wife, where she was staying, she was thrown out because she couldn't renew house rent. Now the woman gave them one room. Now at one point the woman said she would call police. She was tired. Give me my money now. She won't give. So the woman now look for my number, look for my details on social media. She contacted me. Are you aware that your daughter was raped? I started sweating. My daughter. I never knew. So when for more than a week, she was telling me I didn't believe. I had to invite her over. My younger brother was there and one of my friends, and she told me stories. I was crying. My daughter, children I brought up, children I trained. I did Omugo for all my children. Omugo. I drive them to school. I had people that would help me. No, I drive my children myself. And do you know, I went to that house. She was owing the woman. I appealed to the woman. I said to them, her sister in the UK helped her to secure a house. That was how they moved there. I took the children. Within 3 weeks or so, this ex-wife connived with the children. They booked boat and left to her house. So I told myself, I won't kill myself for any child. I love them, but I won't kill myself. Let me move on. And
so your ex-wife has turned your children against you.
I'm telling you, I have tried my best as a father
to reach out to them.
To reach out, no way. And I said, well. And at one point, they even said she remarried and they changed their names. I said, no problem. And when you grow,
your blood is your blood.
My blood is my blood. Why will I bother? I refuse to fight over what is mine. I don't fight over what is mine. What is mine will naturally come. So what they state my children now they are being hypnotized. But
so let's take a detour a little bit. Yeah. What led to like what was the circumstances of the rape?
Oh, it's terrible. I don't want to go. My ex-wife, you know, there is these women that like to tell their story without verification. You know, they will say, my husband divorced me and left me with these children. I pleaded to have custody of these children because I knew she doesn't have the capacity, but she refused. So she used them to get sympathy and help from people. She met this man, somebody introduced her to the church, and she took these children there. And the normal story, I'm a single mom, they left me, my husband, so people saw me as a bad man. Now this pastor now said, oh, sorry, your children, he saw one of them say, you can come, I'll be teaching you how to play keyboard. So my daughter, ignorantly, they will book ride for them, and they would go to the church. Sometimes my ex-wife would not even be there. Sometimes she would travel for weeks. So the children would be taking care of themselves. So this pastor now saw a very good opportunity. So she literally I remember when they told me that they were going to that church, I warned them. I said, all these pastors are thieves. I don't want to hear any story because one time there was a window for visitation and I had the opportunity. I warned them, but I was not in control.
You are not.
So the pastor, if I tell you the man, my daughter was sucking him.
Oh, no.
My brother.
How old was she at that moment?
She was 15. But my children are big.
A minor.
Sucking this man. Sucking. And what is paining me is in court, While they were interrogating my ex-wife, they were telling her how the pastor used to give her money. And that is a problem. This woman transacts my children. And hopefully, I am just trying to settle financially. I am going to, the boy is, I think, about 9 years now. I'm going to go for custody of that boy because I need to redeem him on time. But for the other children, I'll wait till when they are
realize.
mentally ready. I'm ready to accept all of them. But, the more I try, the more her grip and the hypnotization on them works on them. So I don't want to just keep stressing myself. It's not healthy for me. It's not.
Whoa. So a lot happens, really do happen in church. A lot really do happen in church.
Church is a community.
So during all this process, did you for one day consider suicide?
No. I don't know how. I don't smoke. I don't drink. I don't party. I don't club. One thing about me is that you can't dare me. I'm not praising myself, but I'm very strong. What I do is I listen to music. Lucky Dube, Major Fashak. I'm a reggae guy. And maybe you see me with
dread. Your dread.
Yeah, my dread. I love music. So sometimes I'll just lock myself to music. And Lucky Dube had a similar experience when he was talking about regretting over his marriage, and he called the mother and was telling the mother. So I those things, and I had this internal rejuvenation. I draw strength from inside out. That is how I live. Anytime I'm going through pain, the first time it will be a shock. I'll retrieve and relax myself and see, I have won before. I had something similar I overcame, I will overcome.
From this one.
For instance, in 2018, I was robbed in February, I was robbed in December, and I survived it. Gun on my head. I have been to prison, courtesy of Dr. Paul. First time, second time, I survived. I've been to DSS, I survived. FCID, I survived. Is it this FID that will not survive? I will survive. So that is the kind of mind I have. So my eyes are on the goal. While I endure the pain of the process, I also draw joy from the process, because in fact, in the process, I also won some little battle. So my eyes are on the goal. So
you talked about prison.
Yeah.
Tell us about the prison. What was...
The prison, Nigerian prison system is war. It's not the best place to be. But while I was in prison, I had fun. I enjoyed myself, because one thing I do is, anywhere I am, I adapt.
You try to make the best out of it.
You won't believe. When my younger brother came to pick me out, I was looking very plumpy and big.
How long did you stay?
I stayed 3 weeks during that COVID-19, that lockdown. Yeah, that was when we came out. But the Nigerian correctional system is not the best. Like the Suleja correctional system, there's no game. I went to the library, no book. I'm planning to write a book on that, because the Nigerian correctional system, zero. And it's so painful. People there were people that they never called their case. Just remind. Years. Some trivial issue. No case at all. Some maybe midnight arrest. Just bundle everybody, and maybe prosecutor. I know prosecutor is usually a police. Maybe they deploy the person. The case is not being called on. So you are just there, and that remind is the worst
place you could be.
It's better you have been sentenced. But remind, you are hopeless. You are hopeless.
So who fought for you during that period in the remind?
That period in remind, it was terrible for me. I was broke, no money, and I sold my things. I told my younger brother, sell my phone, sold my phone, and I just had that will to survive. That was nobody, because as of that time, social media was coming up, but thanks to Sahara reporters, because as soon as I came out, they picked my story. That was when Dr. Paul now started looking for me for settlement. Because you know how the justice system is. It doesn't favor the poor. Forget it. It doesn't favor the poor. It only favor the rich and the powerful. Till now, it doesn't. It doesn't. When a big man is talking, bring a case against you, to them, they have condemned you. And the painful thing are the mob. The mob, you have a case against someone like Dr. Paul Eneche. Instead of you to sit and look at it objectively, you begin to condemn. You have not even analyzed. And you don't know whether one day it will be your turn.
To be in that position?
Yes. And there's a write-up I made. I said, when good people are being put behind bars and you think it is not your turn yet and you are celebrating, be careful.
Wait, it will get to you.
When it gets to you, you won't have anybody to speak for you.
No,
and that is when you really understand the pain.
How dirty is church politics?
Please don't go there. Very, 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 very dirty. I have never seen a dirty polity. Political politics is not dirty. I can see Atiku with Tinubu can sit and celebrate. I can see Atiku with P2B sit and eat. I remember one Atiku's wedding or so, even all of them went. But religious politics, if I have issue with Dr. Paul, none of his pastor can comfortably sit with me. I can, even when, I didn't drive. I use public vehicle here.
Okay.
I don't have a car now. When I came, I was crossing, I was careful. Yes, I was careful. I could be cited and what are you doing around our environment? Do you understand? So at one point, even when we were trying to do reconciliation, people were like, I was to go to see him at the church because they said we should go there. Somebody said, let me put you in the car, be careful so that they don't mob you. I said, me? Nobody can't dare touch me. Because I'm not a thief. The only thing I know is that I know church politics is dirty because they are being sponsored by poor people. Poor people. People that have no direction. It's like political politics. But political one is better because it is interest. But church politics is they are permanent enemy. Permanent. Bishop Abiodun now have left to it.
But they come up to preach.
My brother. There's a word called cosmetic. Or
Plastic surgery.
Plastic surgery. Old woman can be made to look like a young man.
But it's just costume.
These guys are actors. I've never seen anybody that act like pastors. All of them have doctors. You remember this doctor that his daughter wanted to give birth abroad. Mm-hmm. Now he left Nigeria, or the good hospital, doctor abroad. The daughter went to school, graduate from medical abroad. Why not here in Nigeria? But you are making all the money in Nigeria from the people, and you are
giving the Nigerian people hope
that one day God is making way for you. But your children are schooling abroad. Why are they not schooling in Nigeria? So, church, and that is why as a humanist, we are all out. I'm telling my story, but beside my story, Humanity First Project is a project where we promote humanity above religion. Because we were all born human, not religious.
Not religious.
When we were born, we were religious zero.
We're indoctrinated into religion.
Indoctrinated into it, yeah. So
you said, so you think now that Abioye has left Oyedepo, you think they're going to be enemies?
Are you joking? Go find out from Abioye if he's finding it funny. Should I tell you a story?
Please do.
I won't call names. One pastor, a big pastor that left one other big pastor. They brought the pastor, the sister married the other big pastor. When he left, he was telling me with his mouth. So it's not hearsay. And that's why I can call them, but I don't want.
Yes.
Now, when I was having an issue with Dr. Paul, I went to see him. And he told me, he said, be careful. His in-law that became a big pastor that he left took him to the IG, reported him. Now he was lucky to have a church. Then he had started his own church.
Own church.
He had he was lucky to have a church member that knew the Minister of Police Affairs. So he went to Minister of Police Affairs. This one went to IG. So when the fight came, the IG and they now called themselves, say, these people are family. Let's leave them, let them settle themselves. But imagine this one has
he didn't have nobody.
They will not grant you. He said one time they came, he hid himself in the wardrobe. He hid himself in the wardrobe. You see the way I'm talking to you?
Yes.
That's the same way he was talking to me. Because he was advising me about this kind of
How careful you should be.
I say, ask him. One time he wrote something, he wrote a post, I was laughing. Welcome on board. Reality will hit him. But he was part of the cartel.
He was.
When he was praising big churches, now he's now talking about the people are now the building, not the big churches. Don't they open? So these are realities. And that is what we are talking about. We are talking about reality, not fiction. We need to tell people the truth. Let's stop deceiving them. Church only benefits the pastors, the GOs, not the congregant. The congregant are only a means to an end. They use the large multitude to target the rich, the politicians. That is why somebody will tell you, it's not your money I used to build this church. They use you to get them.
To target those people.
Yes, that's what they do.
So, let's talk about anointing. Touch not my anointed and do my prophet no harm. And you're here touching the anointed.
Hello. If they will permit me, and if I could be empowered, and the so-called anointing here, I can slap him. Let me give you a practical example. If you read the Bible, Jesus was called the Christo. It's a Hebrew word. The Christo means the anointed one. Mm-hmm. He was not just anointed, he was the anointing himself. Mm-hmm. Where Jesus was slapped, Jesus was beaten and was killed, even though I don't believe in that story. I'm just giving you a literal example. Mm-hmm. So these so-called people that say, touch not my anointed, they are only hiding behind something. They know what they are doing is wrong. And that is why church is the opium of the masses.
Yeah, sure.
Yesterday I was discussing and I said, church is for the poor. And it is because of the church that the poor have not killed the rich. Because anytime the poor are going through pain and they want to react, their pain and their hopeless hope is renewed either on Wednesday, on Tuesday, or on Sunday. And when they go to church, they tell you your reward is in heaven. When you'll be walking on the street of gold, you will see Abraham. So the fantasy and the ecstasy will make you happy. You say, well, anything I'm going through, I know one day I'll go to heaven. So I'll leave this sinful
My reward is in heaven.
And I'll leave this sinful world and my reward is in heaven. But the pastor is enjoying his own reward here. So the church, the anointing thing is fallacy. It does not hold water. They use that to deceive people so that people don't dare them. People don't scrutinize them. But if you notice now, it's not holding water anymore. They are not using that word anymore because people now are being armed. Before now, they were controlling the media. They owned satellite TVs. They had printing press. Now, because of the outburst of social media, the grip is broken. Somebody with 10 megabytes can go online and write something.
And share his experience.
They can't control it anymore. So they are losing it. And now they are uncomfortable. They are no more in control. A church member of a particular location can be subscribing to another church without you knowing. He can be watching
listening online.
Before now, it's not possible.
It's not possible.
You have to order for materials. Now, you don't order for any material. So the touch not my anointed is a big scam. As a matter of fact, all of them are all scam. Not one is not scam.
Talking about scam, do you think church is a scam?
A big scam.
But you were a pastor.
I was a pastor.
So how is church a scam?
Yeah, let me give you a terrible instance. My mother, and that's why anytime I talk, I give practical example. My mother started paying tithe, started following God from her childhood. She initiated me to the same followership of God. Now, looking at her life now, that with her dedication.
That followed God.
With me, that she initiated to the same followership of God. There's nothing have shown. No results.
There's no evidence.
No evidence. My mother is so faithful, she can carry her last card and give to God. Now, nothing. We are the one taking care of her medication. God is not healing her. God is not taking care of her health.
After taking all her money.
So church is a big scam and it's for the poor. How many times do you see the rich in the church? They go there to promote themselves. If a rich man goes to any church now, they give that rich man a front seat. The poor man that have been going for years will not occupy that front seat. Let me tell you, if you go to church, the people with suit and wear dress sit at the front. It's Hollywood. The people with good dress, good suit sit at the front. And the people that are not dressing well sit at the back so that camera do not capture them. It is plastic. It's a fake life. Many people have to borrow. And that is why church is, if you take church away now, most people that have new dresses will not wear them. Most people that go to church, it's not because of Sunday, they want to showcase their new dress. Because they need to show off. So religion in Africa is so terrible. It's so distorted. And that is why, as a humanist, we are telling you that this system do not help you. What is the benefit of church to the society? Zero. Rather, they destroy society. In all the streets, you see churches. No factory. No productivity. They are doing 21 days prayer and fasting now. If you go to office, if you are working in an office, some churches do morning and evening. How do you wake up early in the morning? This code, you go to church in the morning, from there you go to work, from work you return back to church, you return back to house. Now, how will you be productive in the office? Even at home, as a wife, how will you be productive? Or as a husband? So churches with this operation affect productivity. It doesn't have families. For instance, look at me now, my daughter has no respect for me because of church. If not, when I was growing up, they said, my papa, I go tell my papa, say, you're not my father. You feel get my talker? No, tell me.
It's not possible.
See, the elder, when you, as they talk themselves, the elder will sit down near you, they beat him.
They'll dial you.
They will dial you. But church down, you see a pastor snapping with somebody's daughter, and they are bragging that the daughter is disobeying
the father.
The father. That is what church does. It's breeding division and destroying the society. For me, the government should do something fast. If not, but without the government doing something, social media is breaking their grip. It won't last. In the next 5-10 years, it won't last.
Do you think when you became a pastor, like when you were passing through the process of being a pastor, I believe, every pastor believes that he got a call from God.
Yeah.
That God called them to be pastors. And I believe also maybe God called you to be a pastor and directed your path under Dr. Paul Eneche. Looking back right now, because I think it's a normal belief that you had then. Looking back in time, do you think that belief was from God? Like, do you think that voice you heard, if you heard one, do you think it's from God? Do you think God directed your path to cross with Dr. Paul Eneche? How do you respond to that
it's hypnotization. It's hypnotization. And one thing about that is that no matter, you can be educated and be hypnotized.
Definitely.
You can be I have seen educated people, well-placed and powerful people, but they are controlled. They are under a spell. Now, when I was born into a Christian home. So I had no mind of my own. At that point is what I met, I was flowing with. While I was growing in that cycle.
In that thing that you
And
introduced.
I wanted to be the best of that cycle. So I started the Jesus they gave me, I was following it dutifully. I can't count how many times I've read the Bible back to back. I've done all manner of theological studies, eschatology and all of that, church history. So at one point, I was chasing and looking for answers because it will be in big trouble when you think you know somebody but you did not know the person. So I wanted to work. If you tell me God is my father, I want to see the role of a father in my life, not by assumption. They say believe, I say no. As I was growing up, in Assemblies of God, I was questioning everything in Assemblies. I was very stubborn. No? This stubbornness is not me today. In Assemblies of God, 16 Eneche Street, in those days, Assemblies of God, they don't believe in anointing oil. I was using anointing oil because I saw it in the Bible. If anybody sick among you, bring oil. I was using it. They say, this boy, you are very stubborn. I started a ministry, even in Assemblies, the young fishermen were going to the villages to preach. Now, when I saw that Assemblies of God, their doctrine was cocky, I said, no, there is more to Jesus Christ. I left Assemblies. So I was not leaving because I was tired. I was leaving because there's something more.
You were still seeking.
I was seeking. When I left Assemblies, I joined another ministry. I did some training again. Still, I told the man, I know day. I now met Dr. Paul. Now, at one point, I stopped going to church, but I was still reading my Bible at home. Questions now. You say God created man in his image. So I was created in his image, in the image of God. How can the owner of somebody, I have to pray and beg God before you help me? What did I do?
What's the benefit of being?
What's the benefit? You tell me that Adam sinned, I became a sinner. Why you no deal with Adam when sin?
Now you know.
Not me. What you concern me? I wasn't there. I didn't give my verification. In law, you can't hold me. So if God is a just God, God is a good God, God is a benevolent God, why will you hold me responsible for somebody else's crime? At that point, I started questioning. Look at, Adam sinned. I inherited the sin of Adam. I did not believe in Adam, but I inherited the sin of Adam. But for me to believe in Jesus, I have to believe in Jesus. I have to, for me to enjoy heaven or the benefit of Jesus, I have to believe.
But the
I will not
one that you don't even believe
in
in,
Adam, but I took Adam's own.
without belief.
Without belief, but Jesus' own I have to believe. Can you see now? And if Bible is the word of God, how can God, as powerful as God, as they describe, his word now will be put in a book for another person to give, to transcribe and to interpret? And you should know that when individuals begin to interpret a content, it loses originality. No, if we were born with leg, mouth, ear, the kidney, the air we breathe, the ability to breathe in, out, and we're all there. But God, now somebody have to import it. No. If God exists, it will naturally grow with us. I don't need somebody to tell me. And most of the things they call religion, if you look at the Arab, what they practice is their culture. Africa, Nigeria, we have a culture. But when the white man came, they demonized our culture. As a humanist, I respect my roots, my ancestors. I respect them. Without them, it's just, if you can't disrespect your root and grow. The root is what helped you, your father, your grandfather, your great-grandfather. Without them, will you exist? So now, religious folks came and discarded and insulted our roots, our ancestors, and called them all kinds of names, evil. Now, they now brought another person's culture. Jesus is not your culture. Jesus is another person's culture. If you go to the Jews, they are talking about Jesus. They see Jesus like every other human being, every other family. I've met a Jewish man and he said, you people, when you come for pilgrimage, we'll just be pitying you people. Because it's like, wow.
And they've even monetized it.
It's money. They love it because they are making money. They are making money off you. You either they go to Saudi Arabia or they go to Jerusalem. So when you look at all of these things, you know, at that point, I knew it's a big scam. And one thing I tell myself is that self-illusion is the worst kind of illusion. And this is what I tell myself. Truth is not true because of the number of people that follow. Truth is not majority. And that is why I don't believe in democracy.
Truth is true because it's truth.
It's truth. So if you like, argue till tomorrow, truth is true. And let me tell you, truth is not afraid of subjection. Truth literally will say, come and subject me. Because after subjection, it will still come out to be true. But can you subject Jesus? Can you subject the church? Why am I being persecuted? Because I'm subjecting them. If you are doing miracle, do miracle. These are simple,
verifiable miracle.
Verifiable information. If they said you are good, like Dr. Paul now, if he's talking, let's go and call all the past staff. That is former staff
that have left.
If they will be bold enough. There was someone that sent me a text that he's ready to talk now. If you see what he wrote, his last driver, if you see what the guy is going through, one of his security personnel have worked with him before, very close to the chief security that have worked with him before. The guy is almost dying. He has called, they are not picking his call. All he's saying is, at least help me make I eat.
Sure.
Make I eat. His wife left him. The guy that told me, I spoke with him on phone. If you doubt that, I'll call him and we'll talk. We'll put it on phone and you hear. Ask to even eat a trouble. But the church is growing according to them. Let me tell you a story. When I tell you church is a scam, the younger brother of Dr. Paul, he died. He has a church in Life Camp, not Dunamis.
Different church.
I dare them to go and see if I'm not mobile now. If not, let's drive to that church. That church is abandoned, is dilapidated. Dr. Paul is not even doing anything to sustain the memory of his biological brother, the same father, even if it is to raise a school. The last time I saw the place, I don't know about now. The last time I saw the place, I nearly cried because I knew the guy. Sam Moses Eneche was one of the big shots, to put there. No memory, even if it is to have a school in his name. Because that is what the life is all about.
The body of Christ should be like.
But this one is even your biological brother. If you can't do it for anybody, your own blood brother. So when I said that guy is petty, he's truly petty. But like I always tell him, don't run to police. Police will not help you. Just when people criticize you, sit down and think and be a better person. Prove me wrong than running to police.
When was the last time you saw him one-on-one?
Oh, it's quite a while. The last time I saw him was when we had an agreement. They said I should delete my Facebook account. I used to have close to 50,000 followers.
Whoa.
Huge. That was then, because as a pastor, I had a whole lot of followers. Even when I left, people were following me because of my teachings. Now, because of my write-up, I lost a car because of that case, the car I had. Now, he then now said we should enter a gentleman agreement at FCID. They said I should delete my Facebook account because just right now, a whole lot of people are following me and they are interested in what is happening.
Yeah.
So they say, for reconciliation's sake, delete it. So that nobody will have access to these things. And for them, what would they do for me? They say my car, they will replace my car. When I foolishly deleted it. When I came back for car, they said I'm trying to blackmail them, that they now gave me 200,000. And I was broke. And I
had to take it.
Like, I had no choice. And that is how deceptive they can be. And one thing about Paul Eneche, he will never empower his so-called enemy. He will never. If you like, put knife here. He prefer you coming to beg him. He prefer you looking poor, so that he can use you to preach.
Control is easy.
Yeah, it's easy when people are broke and poor. The only thing we'll do, he'll be dropping crumbs for you. Say, okay, I'll place you on salary, maybe 30,000 every month. Yes.
So, and they said that the wife is always, a wife is the window of a man's heart, or if you want to get to a man, go through the wife. Did you at any time try to talk to the wife, make her see reasons? Is the wife any different from the husband?
The wife is a compliment, man. They're not different, because I've had the wife. I and the wife come from the same place. So when I had my issue, I even went to the wife. I said, "Ma, I spoke even our dialect. I said, please, I didn't do anything wrong. I was only being expressive. I saw the pressure on me and my family, and I said, people should leave my family alone. If anything happened to us, they should be held responsible. You can call me now. Abraham, come. Why you write like this? You can settle. Why taking me to police and court?" She laughed and said, "Don't worry. Let the court decide your fate."
Are you for real?
Absolutely, look at me. It was there. Oguche, the in-law was there. And so it was not, these are facts, if she will not deny it. So for me, she's not different. She's not different. And it's so disappointing. I would like to. She'll be smiling. She can't smile. I don't want to talk. I don't want to talk.
Wow, this is mind-boggling.
Yeah, man. I think we really had time.
Really a hard time.
Hard time, yeah.
But did you think somebody? I'm still wrapping my hands around Dr. Paul. Did you think maybe he was corrupted by somebody, deceived? Like, did somebody influence him into thinking? People can be deceived.
Yeah. You see, let me tell you, when something is part of you, it's part of you. I was talking with someone that, I don't want to mention him, talking with someone that knew him as a child. And he said this to me, that if this man sends you to go and buy him rice, you bring the rice, he will collect the change from your hand. And he will be eating the rice in your presence. And when he's done, he will ask you to pack the plate.
Before he became a pastor?
Yes, when he was a little child. That was what they said, allegedly now. I wasn't there, so I wouldn't. But so the whole thing is not all about someone at one point did this person change. I think this thing is literally part of the person, because from my experience with him, I have not seen any. He's just loving his tool. You are a good staff, so you are his best friend. But as soon as you are losing it, you are relegated. So there's nothing like love for people. Go and ask any of the pastors that have served 20 years or 15 years what he or she have to show. I dare them, if they are not stealing, if they are not, maybe you have a big family that somebody supporting you, to show me what.
So you want to say that all the pastors under Dunamis, none could proudly, who have started over 15, 20 years, say yes.
And that's what I'm saying. I'm daring them. If they are not stealing, if they don't have a big family that is supporting them, or maybe a church member that love them and have pity for them, supporting them. At one point, some of their pastors, I heard, couldn't send children to school.
Whoa.
You know, if you want to know if...
But the church has a school. Like...
That school is not for you. It's not for you. It's not for you. And that's why, as a humanist, we are working seriously on that. Mission school should be almost free. mission school, and we are going to write to federal government. We are going to mount pressure on them. Because most of them, if you remember in those days when mission school came, they were free.
Yes.
Our parents went to free mission school. Because the missionary that came, the donation they got from their country,
they used it to fund the school.
To fund the school. So why will you now collect offering from the people and begin to blow grammar? Let me tell you, if you want to know a good person, don't look at the high staff. Look at the least, the junior staff.
Amongst them.
If you want to know whether Dr. Paul is taking care of his pastors, look for the junior pastors. Pastors that are in the villages, pastors that may not be too educated, or pastors that are not really on the highbrow state. Just check out on them. And when you see them, you are a media outlet. Do your investigation. And if you see the pastor comfortably living, I will retract my statement. I dare any of the pastors. And that is why when I was talking, and some of them were talking back at me, I don't pity them. We are all victims. And you have to defend your paymaster. If you don't talk, it will look like you support what Abraham is saying. But all I'm saying is for his good. Be a better person to help people. It's not a crime. It's better.
Whoa, this has been a very extensive interview.
Yeah.
And it has been an expose of great kind. Lastly,
yes,
and finally,
okay.
What would you say to that person who is trying to find his path religiously, who is in a feast like you were?
Okay, what I would tell anybody is religion is not safe for you. Religion is not safe for you. Number one, religion do not support critical thinking. A religious person do not think analytically, critically. For instance, if I'm a religious person and I am going out and I run into spider web, I will think that something is about to happen to me. I will interpret it. But as a logical person, if you run into spider web, all this insect, you just remove them, you move. As a religious person, if you see wall gecko, you get agitated. I see wall gecko, I say, Kai, they've left one opening somewhere. That is why this wall gecko came. As a religious person, your life is governed by a book that you don't even know when the book is written. So you don't control your life. Someone control your life for you. As a religious person, your level of critical analogy. Let me give you a practical instance. A religious person will be happy that something happened to his neighbor that did not happen to him. For instance, you are living in a compound and robbers broke in and robbed everybody and left you. Religious person will be happy and go testify that the mantle of my father protected me. And now imagine your neighbor is in the church hearing you. It's like, wow. So your God is not benevolent enough to protect everybody. Your God is selective. Accident happened, everybody died, 2 people survived. You say, God, how can a big God, the description of God does not suit such role? Because a big God should save the whole car. And that is why I tell people, if I'm religious and bad thing happened to me, I'll sue my pastor. Because he's the one I see. For instance, a church said that nothing evil will happen to me. And something evil happened. First, I would have recorded what he said, or I will look for that message. I will sue him, take him to court. You say nothing evil will happen. So by your assurance and the sticker you give me, you said I should go and paste it on my house. Something evil has happened, you have to explain. When people begin to wake up like that, some of these pastors will
start behaving well.
Yes, abroad you don't have churches everywhere. You have factories rather than churches. So religion is not healthy for any society. Part of our project, I am working on a project where religion will be taken out of schools, taken out of workplaces. You are in school to learn. You are not in school to be religious. My child now, I have a little boy. He's about 2 months. He'll be 2 months.
Okay, you've remarried.
I remarried. Absolutely. Oh, man, come on. I love family. I married at 24, the first time.
Okay, your first marriage was 24.
I love family. So I remarried because my new child is not exposed to religion at all. Don't know nothing about God. Let him be a normal human being. And the school he will go to, no prayer. He's there to learn book. It's not to learn God. I send him, if I want to teach him about God, I know where to send him to. I'll send him to either seminary or any Quranic school or Islamic school. So schools, they should discourage religion in schools. The reason is that it affects children. For a child to read, he's praying. Say, God will help me, God will help me. It's a lie.
You don't need prayer for reading.
You want to pass WAEC, you are praying. Which one? Go read, you pass your WAEC. It's garbage in, garbage out. Workplace, when people should be busy working, you go to pray. Pray for what? So we must have a sane society. Most of these Arab countries we celebrate, that is what transformed their society. Some they claim to be religious, it's their culture. Culture is always, I always tell people, like China and all of that, Japan, is culture.
It's their way of life.
It's their culture. Culture is different from religion. The white man targets religion to destroy it, to devalue it. But it's their culture.
It's culture.
When this Indian guy, the former prime minister of UK, when he was to enter his office, he performed
a ritual.
A ritual is his culture.
It's not religion.
It's not religion. As you did now, you're an Igbo man.
Yes.
I'm from Benue. I have my culture. Now, if I'm to be admitted into an office and I do that one, I say, hey, even they may even stone you.
That you're doing juju.
Juju. It's not juju.
But the Indian guy did it in UK.
It's his culture. It's part of him. His children are taught that. And that is why they don't go to pilgrimage elsewhere. People like in Africa go to either Saudi Arabia or Jerusalem.
Or Jerusalem.
In China, they have their own in their house. No, they're not going for any pilgrimage because they understand that this is my culture, this is my heritage. So, and that is why the African continent is backward. It's completely backward. We must understand what is ours and keep to what is ours and keep to what works for us. So for me, religion is a major, apart from ethnicity, apart from some selfish human being that want to control the narrative, that displays high level of arrogance and like the word power, the next is religion. Religion is either number one or number two, but religion is terrible.
It's very strong.
Very, very strong.
So, how is your case going with the police and Dr. Paul? Do you think, is there, as the court decided, the wife said, let the judge decide your fate, or the court decide your fate?
That one I told you was the first case. This one now.
Oh, there is a new case.
There's a new case.
So what was the first case? What was the determination of the court?
Nothing. There was no evidence.
The court discharged it.
They discharged. They withdrew the case.
Okay, the church withdrew the case.
The Dunamis withdrew the case.
Like, did he have mercy on you and withdrew the case, or on his own he withdrew the case?
If you don't have evidence, he was taking advantage of me because first I don't have money.
Okay.
And I don't like.
So he was using power.
Power. So when he did work, he had to withdraw. So this one now, we are going to FCID tomorrow. FID.
What is the case? What case did they have?
I defamed him, defamation. I maligned him. Just too much, all on defamation, character assassination, and all of that. And I told
they should also end in court.
I told them, I show me to court because police is not. Police can't determine.
Because it's the same similar case you had that was that he withdrew from court.
Yes.
So they should also go back to court again.
That is what tomorrow, because they said it's the office of IG also that they claim that is handling the case. And I told them tomorrow as I'm going, if they may detain me. If you don't see me again, they don't detain me because police, our Nigerian police are still trying. They are trying, but they are not good enough. They still have respect for big men. I told them that day I want to see Dr. Paul Eneche here, because
but you have a case against him.
I have a case against him. See him that because if police is there to solve problem and police is your friend, you want to really solve this problem. This man have been chasing me since 2019. Is it because I don't have money? Not because. Is it because I don't have connection?
For 6 years now.
For 6 years now. Okay. How? Like yesterday, he took pictures with my daughter to spat me. So
which he has, if he wants to reach you, he knows the way to reach you.
He knows the way to reach me. And he is hypnotizing my children. My children don't respect me because they seem like some spiritual
head over them. So, and you're the one who the devil has possessed.
I'm the bad person. And you ask me, how bad am I? I don't know.
All right. Thank you so much, sir, for coming around. Thank you for sharing your story. And we encourage other people to share their stories. We do not share these stories out of hate. We do not share it out of despise. We share these stories because human beings, we naturally have excesses and weaknesses. So when we share these stories, those people who are in a place of power, and you know, Absolute power corrupts absolutely. Power can bring out the bad in you that you never knew that you had. So if you have this kind of story, reach out to us. We would like to listen to you. Is help shape our leaders, is to hold them accountable. I don't believe that Brother Abraham here actually hates Dr. Paul Eneche, but he wants to see him do better.
Yeah,
Thank you for tuning in. Hit the subscribe button. Drop your comment on the comment section. We'll respond to you. Thank you and bye for now.